Look hard into my piercing blue eyes, and you'll notice that my soul is finally back in my body. I'm feeling much better, so I thought I'd celebrate by watching some more horrible pickup artistry attempts on TikTok because it puts a smile on my face, and I really think that that's a great benefit to the entire human body. And you know what else is a great benefit to the human body? Gamer Sups. Gamer Sups is the best beverage ever invented, period. I don't mean just the best energy drink ever made, I mean the best drink ever made. Your body craves Gamer Sups more than it craves water. It's up there with like the blood of Christ. I can't recommend it enough. My favorite flavor is titty milk, so shout out Jay Schlatt for that incredible flavor. I think every flavor is extremely good. It's an extremely fantastic drink, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you want to get started on Gamer Sups, you can click the link in the description below or use code moist at gamersups.gg to get a big discount on your order. So I paid a visit to one of my favorite pickup artists. I don't know if that's the right nomenclature here because I don't believe he self-identifies as a pickup artist, but it's a TikToker who's been doing pickup lines to women very, very often for a very long time. And it's as they say, the first 1,000 no's are just the warm-up, the intro. They're still, you're still hitting your power spike. So pretty much all of his content is using these pickup lines that don't work at all. Now, I don't want like anyone to go harass him or anything like that, so I'm not going to be like saying his channel or anything. I wanted to showcase some of his more recent best of moments, as well as a couple of other goofy ones that I saw from a Cody Ko video as well. Because Cody Ko is like this incredible archaeologist at finding horrible riz, I suppose, and I am envious of his ability to track down such holy artifacts. So I'm going to show you two from that.
Damn, I just spent 30 bucks in there, bro.
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me. Can I get your number? No? Can I get your number?
I have a boyfriend.
Can I get your number?
I have a boyfriend.
Can I get your number?
I'm lesbian.
Can I get your number? Can I get your number?
Actually, all have boyfriends.
Can I get... Yo.
This man was so focused on one goal in mind, he was about to start asking the dudes there until his brain pumped the brakes on it. He was so preoccupied with whether or not he could, he never stopped to think whether or not he should. Until he did, and then decided he didn't want the men's numbers. Which I think is a bit of a misstep. Even if he's not interested in having sex with these gentlemen, he could at least, be friends with them perhaps. Maybe he ends up forming a basketball team with them. And honestly, he could play this off for the women around and be like, no, I'm actually asking everyone in here, regardless of their gender, for their number. In fact, I'm putting together the Toon Squad. We gotta take on the Monstars, and I'm holding tryouts, so what's your number? There's like plenty of ways to play with that, instead of just cowardly be like, hey, can I, and then walk away when he realizes it's dudes. But anyway, it's as Cody Ko said, this guy is just a stats man. He knows 100 rejections don't matter, because maybe there'll be one yes in there, and that makes it all worth it. This is clearly a Padawan who's been trained by some of the great Reddit dating gurus from back in 2010, back when they used to preach this thing where it's like, ask every single woman you ever see for her number. And it doesn't matter if you get rejected 10, 20,000 times, because eventually someone's going to say yes. So all those failures will be worth it. And it's like, well, maybe, if you're getting rejected that many times, you're doing something a little creepy. Like, there's definitely a level of self-reflection necessary there. Here, he was doomed from the start because the very first no he got just became a snowball effect and ended up in an avalanche of rejection. There was no world where this was going to work. Just coming up cold turkey, asking for their number, obviously isn't going to lead to overwhelming success. And then every other girl sees that you have done that, and it just exudes desperation. So they're not going to be the person to say, yeah, I'll give you my number. In no universe would that happen, so every girl's just going to say no to him for sure.
No, baby. Excuse me, can I get your number? 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 Can I get your number?
Anyway, that completes the speed run for the world record any percent route for rejections. This was a gold split for sure. I counted, it was 12 no's. So, pretty impressive. If we're going to count the group of dudes, it would take it to 15 no's. So, depending on, what route you want to calculate here, it's between 12 and 15 no's in a matter of 40 seconds. So, very impressive. That is a tough one to beat. But would you believe me if I told you that that's not even his worst showing? The next clip I'm about to show you from him is actually even more rancid. Now, I will say, I couldn't find the original videos here from the accounts, so I can't say with 100% certainty it's the same guy, but I'm pretty confident that it is.
Hey, excuse me? Can you turn, excuse me? I have a question. I'm trying to, oh my God, you're beautiful. I'm trying to get your number. No?
Why do people post these?
Is it because I'm ugly? Oh, fuck.
Just look at the way these women respond to him trying to get their attention because it's so aggressive. Oh, it's like they turned around because they just heard someone yell bomb in an airport. Like, holy shit. They just look frightened and on edge immediately in this guy's presence. It's like in Bleach where they have that spiritual pressure that you can just feel sometimes and it like slaps people to the ground. That's what they're experiencing, like this overwhelming spiritual pressure of cringe, and they're like, oh, ah, like turning around slowly as if it's a horror movie. Oh man. Whew. But yeah, it's a very aggressive thing, just like, excuse me, can you fucking turn around and face me, please? Come on. Hello? And the woman that he tries to rizz up can't even pretend for a single millisecond to be interested in this conversation with the weirdo. So when he does tell her that she's beautiful, she hits him with like one of my creepy smiles. She gives him one of these. Like, oh. And then still he has the gall to ask for her number. And then just for the nice cherry on top, he asks if it's because he's ugly, to which she just says yes. I'm assuming she was just playing along with it just to get him away from there, which worked. I mean, mission accomplished.
Hey, excuse me? Hello. I actually think you're perfect.
What?
I think you're perfect.
For what?
Like, just look
life?
amazing. Yeah. Well,
Oh, thank you.
nobody's perfect in life, but you look perfect. That's what. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I take you out for like a Big Mac or something?
No.
Well, are you vegan or something?
No, I have a boyfriend.
Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense. But you have a good one.
This one's not really bad or anything. I want to put this one here because there's something I want to talk about around it. So, of course, it's always uncomfortable when you say something and the person you say it to doesn't really understand what you're getting at. So when he says you're perfect, she's confused, wondering, like, what does that mean? I'm perfect for what? Thinking that he must be recruiting her for something, like the Avengers or some shit, perhaps. I have no clue. But, you know, to be caught off guard and then not know what you're saying and then have to explain it just makes every situation a little more uncomfortable. But overall, this could have been a wholesome exchange if he didn't tack on the last part about going to get a Big Mac together or something. That makes it now a little uncomfortable and stinky, but just a passing compliment to someone I actually think goes a long way. I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but when I was in it was either freshman or sophomore year of college, I don't remember now. It was when I started to get like big. That was during my more jacked yoke stage of like fitness. And I was walking to my art class and I was carrying this bundle of art supplies, and I was in a tank top because I had just finished at the gym. And these two dudes, I think they were on the lacrosse team, walked by me and they said, "Damn, you look strong as hell." And oh my god, I was like an anime character. Like when the senpai gives them attention, I started blushing. I was like, "Whoa, me?" Just this super quick, fleeting, passing moment, nothing romantic, doesn't mean anything at all, that actually just was a super nice thing. Like, we just went our separate ways, and I just thought, like, hey, that was a nice thing to say. So I really do think there's a lot of positivity around just giving someone a nice compliment. You know, not expecting anything out of it, not overstepping boundaries and making it weird. And I think he was super close to accomplishing that. But then his brain flipped on to, like, need to get pussy, need to turn this into a date, and then, of course, it made it weird.
Excuse me, miss? Hey, I know the gym isn't the place to, you know, meet somebody, but we could just tell our parents we met on Tinder or something.
Sorry?
I know this isn't the place to, like, meet somebody, like the gym, but we could just tell our parents we met on Tinder.
I don't understand what you mean.
This is such a common occurrence for our protagonist here. Oftentimes, the women that he approaches end up very confused. Like, they just got hit by some kind of, you know, fucking solar flare from Piccolo. They're like, what is happening? Like, what are you saying to me right now? This is the worst one I've seen from him, though. This is, like, extremely painful. This is a girl who's just doing her workout, minding her business, and he still comes up to her, and, of course, camera in the face, which is always fucking awful and jarring. And then just spits out some goofy shit that she is not understanding because she's not expecting to just be hit on here in the middle of her workout. She was probably expecting him to come up and ask how many sets she had left because he wanted to use the equipment. And that's not what's happening, and he's trying to like talk over her earbuds, and then she eventually has to take one out so she can hear a little bit better, and it's still not making sense. It is a disaster. It is a fucking catastrophe. A Category 5 hurricane of cringe.
Like,
It's not a place to meet someone, but what?
but we could just tell our parents we met on Tinder.
Tinder.
Yeah, Tinder's like a dating app.
Okay.
Yeah, so can I take down your number?
I'm not trying to date anybody.
I'm not trying to date you too. We could just go wash our cars or something like that.
What do you mean?
Like wash our cars. It's also a
Wash
workout.
cars?
Wash our cars, yeah. No. Are you interested or no? No. Oh, okay. You have a good one.
What in tarnation just happened there? I don't know how it went from Tinder to we could just wash our cars. Like, the wheels fell off of this one really quick. The fucking wagon blew up. Like, I don't know what happened there. And I follow these kind of bad pickup artist kind of shit. I have no clue what happened to the dialogue tree in this interaction, but it went cattywampus really quick. Wow. It's a lot.
You getting some shoes, right?
Yeah.
How much you need?
And then just keep going.
How much you need?
Dude, I just paid for my shoes.
Ah, okay. I'm a little too late, right?
Yeah, you are.
How about like dinner?
Thank you. We've got it.
Thanks.
They good. I'm good too, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am extremely familiar with this guy's content. I have seen more of his videos than I have episodes of One Piece, and I'm on episode 464. And out of all the videos of his I've watched, this is his worst one in my opinion. I don't know who convinced him this was a good idea, but this was, without a doubt, the worst fucking attempt at anything romantic I have ever seen. To come up to a stranger as she's paying for her items at a store and try and flex with a couple $100 bills that you will pay for it is so weird and creepy that even the cashier made a look to her friend to like, you know, hey, is everything okay? And then tries to step in to save them from you. Holy shit. That couldn't have been worse. That actually couldn't have been worse. I think that's a good stopping point for today. That's really about it. So yeah. A delusional psychopath tried swatting someone. What happens next will shock you. Dusting off the old Darman reference here for this one. So some miserable, horrible lady tried to swat someone. I'm sure I don't need to explain what swatting is. It's a horrible, bad thing that'll land you permanently on Santa Claus's naughty list. And this lady looks and sounds like she's one glass of wine away from passing out face first into her copy of 50 Shades of Grey, but in between bouts of consciousness, she decided to commit a huge crime of swatting. And boy howdy, the shoe went on the other foot real quick. They actually found her. And when they brought her into custody, she started launching Sonic-based attacks at the officers. It's a wild ride that I can't wait to take you on, thanks to Code Blue Cam here providing all of the footage. We get a POV of what it's like to encounter a real-world banshee. But before we even see her, let's go ahead and get brought up to speed with the lore, the call, the emergency that she phoned in.
Hi, there's a man with a gun, shooting with a gun. Can you spell the street, ma'am? I can't understand you. Do you have me on speakerphone? He's shooting with a gun. I understand that, and I'm going to send help, but I need to understand the street name. Okay, and who is shooting with a gun? There's a man. He lives there. Okay, what is the man's name? I have no idea. Okay, how do you know this is going on? Oh my God, he's out there with a gun shooting rabbits. Okay, how do you know this is going on? Oh my God, because I can see him. He's shooting rabbits. He's shooting everywhere. Answer my questions. How do you know this is going on?
No doubt she's a classically trained actress. That is a very convincing performance. Those acting chops could bring a tear to the eyes of even Margot Robbie. And she is using it for evil, nefarious purposes. So she's talking about a man who's shooting. He's shooting rabbits. He's shooting everywhere. And refuses to give any, like, real info. And then, like, pauses after the operator's asking her how she even knows this is going on. She doesn't answer and then just hangs up.
Based on the nature of the call, all on-duty Brookfield police officers responded to the area immediately.
Bravo 521, I'm 23. There's nothing going on here. This is most likely a swatting call.
Dispatch later informed that the female caller had reached out again, stating she could see the man on her cameras and that he was still firing his weapon.
They sent out the whole kit and caboodle like they were about to bring down Cobra Commander. They got there, found nothing, but then the mysterious caller reaches out again, saying the same thing, that this maniac is out there firing his weapon. There's a maniac on the loose and we gotta get him. Only the officers were there. There was no gunshots. They even searched the area for casings, found nothing. They asked the homeowner nearby, nothing. So they were pretty confident it was a swatting call.
While clearing the scene, the female continued to call 911 repeatedly from an unknown number. A sergeant instructed the clerks to forward all her calls to his desk phone.
She called them again and again and again, repeatedly just spitting this fraudulent fairy tale, this gobbledygook horseradish. I don't know what she was even fucking thinking at this point. She's like the Riddler, but 50 times as stupid. She's the shittler. So she's over there just spewing this shit. They are at the scene, so they know it's not real, and they just start forwarding those calls to Ace Detective Phoenix Wright's personal desk phone, and he happens to recognize her voice from previous interactions. Let that sink in for a moment. Marinate on that thought. A police officer interacts with so many people, and most of those interactions, I imagine, aren't overly positive. Do you know how annoying you have to be to have an officer remember your voice? That you were such a fucking nuisance that your voice left an imprint in their brain that even just audibly hearing you can activate a Winter Soldier moment for them where they remember your name and everything. All because you stained them with how annoying you were.
When she called again, he recognized her voice from previous interactions. A quick in-house database check soon revealed her identity as 36-year-old Ashley Corbin.
Is that consistent with what you say you're observing?
Yeah.
Okay, we have gone to the area where you have claimed this has been happening 3 times tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, you've seen us there?
Yeah.
So he got asshole Ashley on the horn here in order to corroborate these reports, saying that you've called 10 times now all about this, we've been out there and have seen nothing, and she's just like a broken record saying, yeah, yep, yes. Like, she is a malfunctioning NPC. All she can say is, yeah. And he's just pressing her like, hey, we didn't see anything, you know, what's going on? She eventually says that the guy shooting is on camera, so the officer says, well, we'd love to see that footage. Shocker, she's got no footage to show.
I would love to see the video footage if that's something that you could provide for us, because we have been unable to locate him. And I sent an officer to look at that with you.
No, we want him to be stopped.
What's going to happen moving forward, we're going to be conducting an investigation for swatting. Are you familiar with that term?
I hope so. I hope that you guys are going to take him, his property into custody, and investigate his whole property. I pray to God.
Well,
her body is screaming for water, but the only thing it's getting is more and more wine. She is plastered. You can clearly hear it. She is not able to process at all what's happening here. He's even telling her to her face that they are investigating her for swatting, and she's like, oh, thank heavens. Goodness gracious, it's about time you guys do your job. He's an absolute menace out there. He's shooting, and you need to go investigate his property. You need to take his property. I pray to God you go take his property. This and that. She doesn't realize what is happening here at all. Like, swatting is a very serious thing. Again, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but people die from swatting. So it's something that's taken super seriously here, and she is not able to wrangle that fact at all.
Well, we're worried about our kids.
Yep, you've said that a couple times, ma'am. If you were so worried about your kids, I think you'd be willing to talk to an officer about it.
Are you kidding me? Do you really want to want to go there?
We're going to pull the phone records from the phone company. We'll write the subpoena. Have you had any drinks tonight, ma'am?
Are you crazy?
No, ma'am. I'm trying to conduct this investigation for you.
Are you a crazy person?
Nope.
He's been shooting rabbits and doing all kinds of stuff.
He started to sniff out that she might be intoxicated, but Ashley's putting on a strong show of sobriety to throw him off the trail. Drunk? Me? No. You crazy? You a crazy person? Is that what's going on here?
So, we're going to end this. He's going to pay us $1,500.
Oh, that's good for you.
Yeah, sure is.
Her neurons started to desperately fire as the realization must have started to sink in that they're not buying her story. So she starts to panic a little bit and tries to write a conclusion to the fanfic about how they just shook hands with $1,500 and everything's hunky-dory now. No need to send any pesky officers out there to check anything out because it's all squared away now, huh? Job well done.
Ashley Corbin, I remember her.
That's who I think it is. I think it's Ashley. Hello? Is this Ashley?
Yeah, no, this is not Ashley.
Okay. This is Sergeant Griebling with the Brookfield Police Department. You called us?
Who is Ashley?
I thought this was Ashley.
Why would you think that?
The tables turn. The officers are pretty sure it's Ashley, so they call her this time to try and confirm those suspicions. And I think it's pretty obvious from the second she answers the phone, they got her. But she's trying to play it cool. Ashley? No, this is not Ashley. What makes you think it's Ashley? My name is Born. I'm actually surprised she answered this call with her normal inebriated voice instead of trying to fool them, throw a monkey wrench into their hypothesis by answering the phone with an accent or something. Top of the morning to ya! You know, something like that, and they'd be like, oh, well, clearly it can't be Ashley. This caller wasn't Irish, so we got the wrong person.
Guess what? My name's Lindsay. You can stop calling me Ashley. Thank you.
Okay. You should probably slow down on the drinking tonight, ma'am.
You should probably fucking stop being a fucking bitch.
Okay.
How about that?
The call starts to devolve into her treating this call like it's an Xbox Live lobby, so she just keeps calling him a bitch. It really gets very interesting. It's like a League of Legends chat at this point.
It was also revealed that Ashley had an active felony warrant and had repeatedly called another police agency earlier that day using vulgar and profane language.
Sorry. Whoa! Crazy! Come on, get straight, Chris! Get straight. Chris? No.
Come on, let's go, bud.
Come on.
We get some more lore on Ashley, and the deeper it gets, the more confused I become at how someone can end up like Ashley. She was apparently calling another police agency that day as well to spew some mumbo-jumbo, and then they eventually find her outside with her dog, and then she's yanking on the dog's leash, which eventually pops the leash off of the dog, and then she has to go on the side quest to get the dog back to get it inside. It's quite a journey.
I want my attorney present.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. So I'm not going to talk to anybody without my attorney present.
Very well. I will pass on the Brookfield, and we'll see what they say.
After a lengthy mission, they do finally get the dog, and the way she's holding him, she's holding it like it's a bioweapon. I've never seen someone hold a dog like that in my fucking life. She's got the dog's wiener pointed at the officers. I think she was hoping that he'd start peeing or something as a distraction so she could make a run for it. I don't know. But she's like holding the dog almost like it's the fucking Heisman Trophy or something. Like, I don't get what she's doing, like, with that dog. I feel terrible for the dog. Honestly, the best thing that could have happened is the dog gets off the leash and finds a new owner. Because she seems remarkably fucking lost and beyond off her gourd.
So, no, I'm not doing a swatting thing with a Brookfield. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't joke about that.
That is a serious joke. Ken is a psycho.
I don't even know who Ken is.
The guy?
We honestly don't know much of what's going on.
We were told here to come pick you up, that you have a warrant, and Brookfield wants to talk, has criminal charges.
I date a Brookfield officer, okay?
Who?
My man is an officer, okay? I'm not gonna say because I don't want to.
You just said Singleton.
It's pretty clear that this woman is a pathological liar, and it only gets worse. She throws out some really heinous accusations in a bit. So right now, she's talking about how she wasn't behind the swatting. That's a very serious joke. That's not a knee slapper or a gut buster that you make gags out of. She would never do such a thing like that. And then she's talking about how she actually dates an officer. Won't name his name, but she dates an officer, and he probably wouldn't like what's happening here. He probably wouldn't like it. So her whole idea here, I think, was to try and, like, I don't know, say, like, hey, I date an officer, so I shouldn't be arrested, you know? I think that was the plan. It doesn't work, but I think that's what she was going for.
You need to go.
No, you're good. Well, we got plans.
Can you please come out?
Hey, be respectful.
No, you can take it.
I was trying to go to the basement. I didn't know I was going to.
It's actually incredible how unlikable this woman is. A just normal person coming out of the elevator doing normal activities, and she yells at them to get out. Like, what the fuck? How can someone possibly be this much of an insufferable piece of shit? It's actually impressive.
That was kind of rude.
I am rude. I'm sorry.
That lady did nothing to you.
I'm a surgeon.
What?
I'm a surgeon. I am. So I'm very particular. So
What does that have to do with yelling at a lady?
I'm sorry.
Now she's saying that she's a surgeon. She just randomly blurts out that she's a surgeon. It's like a child when they're like making up a story when playing pretend, like SpongeBob and SquarePants in that box of imagination. That's her whole brain. I'm spitting. I'm actually spitting. That's how disgusted this woman makes me. She can't stop lying for even a second, and she can't stop being a piece of shit to people around her. And like the officer's even telling her, like, that was rude. Like, this was just a person using this elevator, and now you're yelling at them. And she's like, I'm a surgeon! I'm a surgeon! I'm a surgeon! I like things to be particular. And I'm like, what? What? What does that have to do with anything?
I do stuff very particular. Like I do brain surgery.
Okay, let's take a left.
So it's very particular.
So does that mean you can be an asshole to people?
I don't deal with people. So it's like I deal with digging in people's brains and digging in. I'm sorry. That's what I do. You dig in, you go in deep 5, and that's it.
Brain surgeon.
I like how she almost tried to drop some kind of scientific terms like, well, brain surgery, you see, it's actually very complicated, and it's why I'm a little particular about things. I don't deal with people, I'm dealing with brains. You know, you have to go D5. D5. You know, knight to D5. You know, you saw it in Harry Potter when they're playing wizard's chess, like, you guys wouldn't get it. I won't bore you with the jargon that you couldn't possibly understand with your tiny, feeble minds. Just know that because I'm a brain surgeon, it gives me the right to yell at people. And it gives me the right to call police departments 20 times a night reporting false crimes because, well, it's what I like to do as a brain surgeon.
You're lying, and you use me as a scapegoat under the bridge. You guys were harassing me under the bridge, and there was no cameras under there, and you guys were harassing me and me under the bridge.
She also left like a big bag of beer in front of someone's door and...
What's up?
You guys me in the elevator.
Okay.
Yep.
We have body cameras.
And I have marks.
We have body cameras, and if you want to,
and so do I.
If you want to file a false police report, we can go down that road.
You're lying.
Her next series of lies isn't nearly as humorous as her brain surgeon storyline, where, you know, she received a lobotomy, thus she thinks she's a brain surgeon now or whatever. This one, she starts to try and spin a false rape accusation about how they were raping her on the elevator and under a bridge.
And what they did to me, how they me.
Nobody's gonna. We were saying to exit the car.
Yep, and how they me.
Nelly, let's go.
Yep, how he me and how this guy me. And this guy me. What is your name? Stop! I'm talking too loud, you me! I'm talking too loud, you me!
Ashley.
You me! He me! He me! He did! This guy! This guy me!
She now embarks on the Screaming Gambit. This is a pretty advanced maneuver you don't see executed super often, never to any degree of success, where the person just then starts screeching and squealing. And it's what she does for the rest of the video. So she's still screaming that they raped her when there is body cam footage to prove that did not happen. That is a blatant lie. All she does is endlessly lie. It's craziness. And that is a awful thing to be lying about. And she's screaming it, and I think the idea was to try and like incite anger, to have like maybe people come in and like, I don't know, push over the officers to save her or something. I don't know what she's even trying to do with that accusation when there's clearly evidence that proves contrary. I think it's to try and like get out of the arrest. I don't really know, but it is unhinged lunacy.
Ashley, turn back around. Ashley, get back on the bench. Ashley, you need to sit on the bench right now.
When she eventually does get to the station, she lets out her best Joker laugh that she can muster. And to her credit, it's a pretty maniacal, cartoonishly evil laugh that she pulled off. It's pretty impressive.
Stand up.
Ow! Now you broke my arm!
Sit.
Now you broke my arm!
Ashley, you need to sit down.
You broke my arm! Ow!
Ashley, you need to sit up.
Lord have mercy on all the poor souls that were watching this with headphones on. They're no longer with us. So she's now claiming they broke her arm when they went over to try and get her to sit up. They didn't actually even lift her, by the way. The second they, like, touched her, then she started saying that they broke her arm. Another bogus baloney fib here. Liar, liar, plants for hire. Holy cannoli. And now she is absolutely wailing. She is sounding like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. She sounds like if Toucan Sam ate a ghost pepper.
No! No, you broke my arm! You broke my arm! You did! You broke my arm!
I did not break your
You
arm.
broke my arm! Ah! Ah! Why are you hurting me?
If you sit forward, I
Don't
won't touch you.
touch me!
Do you have an NCIC for swatting?
Oh God. Swatting. You guys are so fucking stupid. Swatting. Ow!
Ashley, you just sit up.
She goes on and on and on and on and on. It sounds like the screaming goat meme. So that's kind of where that concludes, but she did receive some charges for it, but really got let off super easy. She, I think, only spent like 6 months in jail for blatant swatting, and she should be counting her lucky stars that they didn't try and pursue some kind of false rape accusation charges as well. I don't know if that's something they even could do, but I'm surprised they didn't try. Like, this really could have been a lot worse for Ashley. Swatting is something that is extremely serious. So she got let off very easily. And man, what a fucking nuisance she is. Holy. That's really about it. So yeah. Yeah, 2 videos on the same topic today. Big whoop. You want to fight about it, coward? Knew how to poop, had to learn how to fart. Doesn't matter. I am glued to this rabbit hole here. VO3 is the latest AI generative video tool from Gemini, but it might as well be from Cyberdyne, because this is the first steps into the AI future takeover like Skynet here. And what's being pumped out with VO3 is crazy impressive. And in a few cases, it's close to indistinguishable from a real authentic video. You'd have to be laser focused with your keen peepers and have your fucking Sharingan activated sometimes for these. And what I was talking about earlier is its effect it'll absolutely have on the YouTube ecosystem, where Let's Plays will be pumped out the wazoo, because there is a proof of concept right now from VO3 that it can very closely mimic real Minecraft and Fortnite Let's Plays with a face cam, a YouTuber, and the gameplay. I won't just regurgitate more examples of that. There are plenty to choose from here, the most notorious being that red-shirted cartoon character on ketamine right there in front of the Minecraft gameplay. There are some that are even more convincing that don't look like they're hitting a K-hole really hard. Point is, it's very good at pumping out fake Let's Plays. It's also very good at pumping out other kinds of popular YouTube content like those street interviews.
What's one move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time?
Oh, y'all gotta give them that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
This genre of content is so fucking cringe that this AI video feels just about as natural and organic as the real flesh, blood, and cringe that does this. Like, I swear to God, the people that do those videos are always like the exact same. What is your body count? And it feels almost as robotic as this AI video. So this one is actually looking to have people putting fries in the bag right now from that genre of content. Like, this is the wooden stake to the vampire's heart, because they can pump these street interviews out endlessly. And that and plenty more. Really, they can make endless YouTube content and flood the platform. And like I said, it's not perfect. You can still tell something is awry. It's still a bit eerie, but it's good enough that I think a large number of people will be none the wiser. And also, a large number of people aren't even paying that much attention to the videos they put on in the first place. So this will absolutely encapsulate them. It's just getting very concerning. But the one thing AI will never be able to emulate or replace is good hygiene. Motherfuckers out there smelling like trash, practicing horrible hygiene, it's time to fix that with our soap. Use Cheeky.com for the best soap ever made. I wanted to briefly mention that because we're doing a big Memorial Day sale that we're running until Monday, where if you use code MOIST, it's 20% off everything. So now's the perfect time to really upgrade your hygiene. Anyway though, I didn't want to just focus on the YouTube side of things when it comes to this technology again. That's what I did earlier today. Instead, I want to talk about it in some other areas, most notably in commercial productions. So many of you know commercials use actors and they have sets and they have a budget and they produce commercials to advertise products, you know, the whole shebang. I don't need to explain to you how that shit works. I don't need to fucking spoon feed you that with the here comes the airplane on commercials. Point is, commercials have always had humans as a part of selling the product. But VO3 is currently just out of the box almost good enough to fully replace that. And there is a producer that made a little proof of concept showcasing its capabilities even this early on.
I tried everything for my depression. Nothing worked.
Every day felt heavy. I felt trapped.
Then I tried Puppermin.
Our prescription helps your body secrete a special pheromone that attracts puppies.
I took the pill before bed, and when I woke up, there he was, the love of my life.
The pill does not target depression directly, but we've found that it's really difficult to be depressed when cute dogs show up at your doorstep.
Now, obviously, the video itself is a joke, but the concept is not. As he mentions in that tweet, he claims that he used to spend like $500,000 making pharmaceutical commercials. Meanwhile, he was able to generate this minute 16-second ad for $500 on VO in less than a day. Do you know how appealing that is to businesses, corporations that are constantly looking for ways to shave some doubloons off their bottom line and, you know, cut corners and save money? This is like a wet dream to them because why would they hire tons of, you know, contractors as well as booking a location and setting aside shooting dates, editing, all of that, the whole kit and caboodle, when instead they could just hire one talentless goober to type some prompts into VO3 and generate something that's good enough for people to see and maybe get interested in the product. Like, it's just so cheap. Like, it is like 1/1,000,000th of the price of a normal commercial, and it's not like this takes a skilled laborer. Whereas doing commercials, that's a whole industry of specialized professionals. That's expensive. And you also have to hire actors, whereas this cuts out everyone except for one guy, and anybody can do that job. No matter what kind of dogshit delusional propaganda the self-proclaimed prompt engineers try and shove down your throat, this is a very easy thing to do for anybody at all with access to it. So this is going to be an extremely appealing option for these companies because the only risk is a reputational hit where people criticize them for using AI in their advertisements. But because this technology is becoming more and more normalized, more and more people are being accepting of it anyway. So they can save a ton of money and eventually people will stop caring, and they know that. They're banking on that. So as the guy in the tweet here says, as PJ says, why would they be spending this kind of money when instead they can spend like $500 and still generate a commercial that's good enough? And not only that, they can generate a new commercial every day with this. So they can have an entire marketing campaign for a fraction of the cost and 20 times the output. It's just, that is going to be where these greedy corporations go. And like I said, this is VO3 just out of the box. So here's another example from someone named REK, just showcasing how good the sound is here in terms of like lip syncing and characters talking, all completely generated through VO, nothing added.
We can talk.
No more silence.
Yes, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk with accents.
Oh, I think that would be marvelous fun.
Yes, it is very fun. But
Yes, it is very good.
It's very fun.
I can talk.
Yes.
We can talk.
Yes.
Yeah. We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
Yes.
We can talk. No.
Yes.
We can talk as cartoons.
This is amazing.
Imagine all the narrative possibilities.
And imagine all of the people that no longer will be able to work in any of these industries at all because no corporations are going to hire people when instead they can just generate the content. That's the actual future and the hard pill that a lot of these AI enthusiasts refuse to swallow. I keep seeing this argument of like, now art is accessible to everyone. You stupid troglodyte, it always has been if you were creative enough and had the drive to. It's the same thing with like AI art, how like a lot of people claim AI has given people, everyone, the ability to be an artist. That's always been in your possibilities. Like, that's always been on the table. If you just had the drive, pick up a fucking pencil and you could become an artist if you learn. This just does it all for you. The AI in its current state can be used as a tool by real artists and real filmmakers, 100%. I have seen like some positive usages there for some things, but the bulk of this will be from corporations looking to save money by just not hiring people at all and just cutting them out. Using AI to generate art is not a tool. Like, you cannot compare this to like a tablet or like digital art that a lot of people try and compare these apples to oranges. It's just delusional cope, because you can't grab a tablet and a stylus and set them down and say, draw James Corden fighting Vegeta. Because nothing's going to happen. It's not just going to have like a fucking mind of its own and just draw it for you. It's not the goddamn Disney Channel bringing this shit to life with magic. You would still have to grab that stylus and draw James Corden fighting Vegeta. Whereas using these AI programs, if you tell it, draw James Corden fighting Vegeta, it will. It does it for you. You don't do anything. It's not a tool. It just does what you tell it to do. It'd be like me calling myself a pilot because I flew on a plane to Dallas once. I may not have been behind the controls, but I said I wanted to go to Dallas, so I got on the plane and the plane took me to Dallas like I said. I guess I must be a pilot. So it's a terrible comparison, and what it's going to be used for is replacing people. That's why so much money keeps getting funneled into it constantly. Because as PJ mentioned, why are you going to hire people for commercials or short videos or anything like that when instead you can generate infinite number of them for an infinitely lower cost? Another thing PJ mentioned that I think he's right on the money with. He said, I've been a professional filmmaker for 15 years and it's getting very difficult to tell if this is fake. And then he played another AI generated video that's also pretty impressive. And then he said, in what world is not all media generated within 2 years? Unfortunately, I think he's pretty close to the money here. I don't think it's going to be all media. I think that's a little exaggeratory. But I think in the next 2 years, we're going to see a huge shift in the amount of AI content where on specific places like YouTube and Twitter, a ton, maybe even the majority of the content you consume is non-human. It's artificial. And that shit sucks. It's going to get to a point where the amount of artificial content drowns out the real human being driven content. Like, it's going to be a novelty to find like an actual person behind videos or whatever online. There was already that report that I've mentioned numerous times here about how almost half of the internet now is actually bots. Like, there is a 50-50 shot the person you're interacting with online is not a person at all, but instead a bot. It's already out of control, and now with this technology getting so good, it's only going to continue to spiral the problem more and more out of control. So it's hard for me not to get like lost in this rabbit hole because it is so fascinating. This is a crucial moment in human history we are living through right now. Legitimately, like that is not exaggeratory to say. This is that big. So I wanted to talk about it. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya. A few months ago, I watched what had to be one of the wildest encounters I've ever seen. This is a vigilante predator hunter group that was busting the person they were investigating in public. And this goes completely insano style. It becomes cartoonish. It's almost like a Benny Hill chase scene here. I couldn't believe what was unfolding in front of me.
I am currently looking for my fiber.
Your what?
Fiber.
Fiber?
Yeah, because I gotta poop.
You gotta poop?
I'm constipated. I've been constipated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is a very interesting tactic. This is a high-level maneuver. He is claiming that he's not there at the meat spot for a 13-year-old boy. He's there to get some fiber so he can take a shit. He's been constipated, so he's there for some poop pills. And it doesn't take some galaxy brain genius to put together the puzzle pieces here, connect the dots, and deduce that he is on meth. You know, he's getting loopy off that poopy right now. He is high on meth, which isn't just speculation. At the end of the video, they released their entire investigation, screenshots of all the text messages that were exchanged between this guy and who he thought was a 13-year-old, and meth comes up a lot. Even right before meeting, meth was discussed, and as you can see in the title, he was arrested, and they did pretty much confirm meth was in his system.
Hey man, I can involve the police, or we can have a conversation. You want to have a conversation? You want to turn around and talk to me?
I gotta find this first.
Hey, bro, I can call the cops right now, or we can just, or we can just have a conversation.
I'm actually really constipated, sir. Please, can you actually let me get my supplements so I can actually go home, so I can poop, and actually so I can poop well?
Step 1 should have been involving the authorities the second you found a real pedophile that was trying to meet up for sex with a 13-year-old and like get them smoking meth or whatever. I don't understand why that wasn't the first thing you did. Luckily, there's spoilers in the title, so you know he does get arrested, but not for the reasons of this investigation. Some crazy shit happens towards the end. Had he involved law enforcement earlier, even from the start, I feel like this could have been far more effective. It seems like the first thing he did when he identified a real pedophile was try and figure out how to monetize it and make a viral video out of it or something. Because he gets like 2 different cameras out. He's got like the fucking Steadicam. He's got so many cameras set up. He's got like the GTA cinematic angle going on here. So it really feels like the number one concern was trying to figure out a way to monetize it. He also has like calls to action in the video to subscribe to his channel. He's got the People vs. Pred watermark. This shit is branded out of the wazoo. So it does really feel like the number one thing he was looking for here was a way of making money off of the bust, which is kind of weird. It is still good that this does lead to an arrest, but I really do wish it was handled with collaboration from the actual authorities.
Can you help me find
Do you want
fiber
to
pills?
Do
Can
you
you
want
help
me
me
to call?
find fiber pills?
Do you want
for
me to call the cops?
Why would you want to call the cops for me when I'm trying to find my fiber pills?
I know why you're here.
Why am I
to
here?
meet my 13-year-old little brother.
Who is that? I don't know who that is. Who is that? I have no clue.
Christ, where are they hiding the fiber pills in this bitch? Like, goodness gracious, are they underground? This man's out here trying to locate fiber pills, and it's like trying to find pirates' buried treasure, apparently. But anyway, you can see he's really starting to tweak quite a bit now. Things are getting escalated. The man filming is starting to call the cops, which is something I feel he should have done quite a long time ago. But we're only just beginning.
Hey, buddy, is this you?
Can you please
Why do I
let
have
me?
Why do I have a picture of you? Is this
Why
you?
are you doing this to me?
Is this you? Is this a picture of you? Why do I have a picture of you?
Huh, what's this? What is it?
Why do I have a picture of you?
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
Why do I have a
Please do not
picture?
touch me.
Why do I have a picture of your?
Ew, 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 ew.
This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for and to give him crystal meth.
Oh my god.
Negotiations crumble, diplomacy falls, and then things really pop the fuck off. So he shows him that he has a picture of this guy's asshole, and then we enter like the DPS check of the raid boss encounter here. So now he's chasing the pedophile around while shouting he's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for sex. The predators start shouting. Everyone in the shopping center is confused and maybe even a little frightened from this sudden explosion of yelling and all of that. And we also get close-ups of the meth molester's head, and it seems like he has a lot of dandruff. Not that that has anything to do with anything at all, it just struck me as, wow, that's a lot of dandruff. So he might want to pick up a bottle of Head & Shoulders on his way back to the poopy pill aisle.
This guy right here is here to meet a 13-year-old boy and to give him crystal meth.
Please,
Okay,
sir.
what's happening?
I'm trying
Call
to
the
find
cops.
you. Do you know where the
Call the
fiber
cops.
pills are?
Call the cops. This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for. Don't touch me.
Sir,
Don't touch me.
What? Stop.
Don't touch me and don't put your hands in front of my camera, bro.
Stop.
Who the are you? Stop.
The cameraman here is really coming across like a combative asshole. Obviously, the store employee doesn't know the situation. He's not fucking omniscient. All he sees is 2 people screaming in his store while one of them has multiple cameras set up like he's out here trying to film a 360-degree music video. So he's just trying to get in the middle of this and like, hey, can you de-escalate it? You know, take it anywhere else. And for some reason, the Predator Buster is now starting to get mad at this guy who's just doing his fucking job. Like, he's done nothing wrong. He doesn't know what's happening here. He's just trying to de-escalate the situation.
This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for. Get in front of my camera again, bro.
Because you're not.
Get in front of my camera again.
You don't have permission to film your camera here.
Who the f are you?
This is.
Who are you?
You need to leave.
Hey, buddy, get the f out of my way. Get the f out of my way.
Sir, you gotta leave my store.
No, I don't. Call the cops.
This guy seems like he was closer to fighting the store employee just doing his job than he was to fighting the actual pedophile that he was there to bust. This shit is crazy.
Why is this happening?
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Why would I do such a thing?
Then leave. Go home.
Can you let me find my fiber pills?
Oh, your fiber pills?
Where's the fiber?
Just when you thought it was starting to wrap itself up, this fucking guy goes back looking for fiber pills. He goes back to the fucking fiber pill aisle and keeps the whole song and dance going. We're in Act 2 now. It is incomprehensible, the shit that is unfolding here. I can't believe that this actually is a real thing that happened and isn't some like staged, scripted fucking piece of, I don't know, fiction. It's unbelievable.
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Why are you here to harass me?
Why are you here to meet a 13-year-old boy?
Are you trying to prevent me? No, I'm gonna stop.
2235. Focus. I'm a weirdo? Yeah. Why do I have a picture of his asshole if I'm a weirdo? Why do I have a picture of his face? Look at it. Why do I have a picture of his face if I'm the weirdo?
Some of the other people around him start calling him a weirdo, the guy filming, to which he takes great offense. So he goes over to prove that he's not weird. So he goes and says, if I'm a weirdo, why do I have a picture of his asshole? Checkmate. Regular old Saul Goodman over here defending himself. I can't be weird, I have a picture of his butthole right here, look at this. He takes his phone around like it's show and tell. He passes it around saying, hey, look, I'm not weird, look, this is his anus. I don't know what the strategy is there. He could have easily explained, I'm conducting an investigation, this guy was trying to meet up with my 13-year-old brother. That's a lot more easy to understand than like, hey, I'm not weird, this is this guy's ass. Like, I don't know what the thought process was. I think he was so lost and deep in fight mode that he was just trying to like get aggressive with everybody, even just completely innocent people that didn't understand what was happening.
Trying to meet up a little kid from the internet?
I saw a comment that perfectly described how this part in the parking lot plays out. They said he's acting like he's the 13-year-old boy running away from a pedophile. And that is so accurate. He's running around like hysterically screaming and just going absolutely ballistic. He runs in a circle and then even lays on the ground for a little bit, kind of wiggling around.
Can I just go poop? Ah! Ah!
Oh my god, it gets even better!
The pedophile is high on meth and operating a vehicle, and it goes about as you'd expect. He immediately peels out and fucking blasts himself like right over like a small little tree and some bushes. It really looked like it was about to take flight. That was some shit out of Need for Speed, honestly. Like, god damn.
Oh my god! Whoa, hit and run, call the police! Call the police!
Immediately after vaporizing a tree and destroying that like area of bushes, he peels out once again and manages to hit one of only two potential obstacles in the entire fucking parking lot. Someone else's car. He goes by and hits someone else's car. There is literally only two cars in this entire fucking parking lot. It is actually more impressive that he managed to hit something. Like, I don't even fathom how he could have fucked up even worse. It's unbelievable.
Just call the police, guys. I got the tags. Call the police. Call the police. Call the police. Call the cops, bro. I got the video. You don't need the video. Just call the cops. Tackle this dumb.
I always hate that fucking mentality. Hey, someone else call the police. I'm busy recording. No. I'm recording, so someone else call the police to handle this. There's only a handful of situations where that makes any sense, and that's when there's already a large group there. Then having a video of the situation can be helpful to the overall thing. So you could have one person video while someone else is calling the authorities, but in this case it was just him for the entire thing right up until the very end. He should have been the one to call the police, but didn't. And the predator makes another inexplicable decision. Instead of leaving, he instead pulls up to the front of the store he just ran away screaming from and parks it. He just drops that shit right in front of the store he just left and then gets out to try and run back into the store, which I don't understand at all. He's treating it like this was some kind of safe zone or something. And as he gets out of the car and tries to run back in the store, he gets tackled by a good Samaritan who had just seen the hit and run and everything that unfolded in the parking lot. So he gets tackled by that guy, and it's like a Goldberg spear. That is a great form textbook tackle. And then the cops do show up to arrest him.
Yeah, that's the one thing, sir.
Come on, man.
The cops go through his things. They find a pipe. They find a lot of stuff. They arrest him for the driving, DUI. They don't seem super interested in the predator catcher's investigation and what he's talking about. They don't really pay too much attention to that. Instead, they arrest him for, of course, the way he was driving the vehicle. Now, I've mentioned this numerous times over the years. I'm not really a fan of vigilante predator hunters for the simple reason that 9 times out of 10, the pedophiles that get caught in these operations don't face any real repercussions other than like a video being made about them. But law enforcement can't use the investigations because they're less than professional, meaning the predator doesn't spend any time in the slammer, they don't go to jail, which allows them to continue preying on children in their communities. Now, I do think there are extenuating circumstances, like for example EDP. EDP may have not gone to jail, but that video that was made about him by the, fucking Gotham Knights of Predator Catchers did a great service to the whole community because it exposed him for abusing his platform, trying to meet up with children, and even if he didn't go to jail, it still took away his access to more potential victims. So overall, it was a positive thing, though ideal outcome would have been him also going to jail. In this case, the video we just watched, this predator probably would have never went to jail had he not operated the vehicle while high on meth and caused a massive commotion there and hitting multiple things. Had he not been driving that recklessly and high, he probably would have never seen any jail time for the investigation conducted by this channel. So it's just one of those things where, yes, it is good to expose the predators, but I really wish it was handled in collaboration with law enforcement, so that way not only would they be exposed publicly, they would also face the jail time associated with the crime. But yeah, anyway, this video was wild, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit today. That's about it. See ya. Today, I just learned about one of the most bafflingly unhinged criminal cases I've ever read or watched. And it's honestly made me disappointed in all of you for not making me aware of this situation sooner. Shame on you in particular for hoarding this filth to yourself and not letting me into the lunch table to learn about it with you. I'm talking about the wild case of Nicholas Alaverdian, otherwise known as Nicholas Rossi, aka Arthur Knight. This man's got more names than a phone book. He goes by many different gamer tags. I wouldn't be surprised if more aliases come to light and there's shit like Dark Ruler 52XX or something. And his story in this whole situation is an unbelievable, true story of absolute lunacy. Dateline recently ran a piece on the Nicholas Alaverdian situation, trying to untangle all of the wild web of mysteries that have been woven here. It is just vile, evil shit. Nicholas is a degenerate worm of a person, but he's also a goofball goober who came up with the dumbest idea ever when he was confronted with the reality of his crimes that he is accused of committing. He is accused of extremely serious charges. He is accused of raping multiple women in Utah. And he came up with this galaxy brain scheme in order to escape the repercussions. He faked his own death. He must have been inspired by Dino Spumoni from Hey Arnold, when Dino Spumoni faked his own death to increase record sales or whatever, but in this case, it was a lot darker than that. He faked his own death to get away from rape charges, and then he fled the United States. He was recently put back on the radar after he checked himself into a hospital for COVID-related symptoms. Eventually, pieces of this puzzle started falling into place, and authorities were able to connect the dots that, this guy claiming to be Arthur Knight may actually be this wanted fugitive that the US really wants to have extradited. And that's led to about a year-long battle with Nicholas Alaverdian, or Arthur Knight, or Nicholas Rossi, in order to have him face justice for his actions. I'm going to go ahead and play you a quick clip from 5 months ago when a different news organization was covering the basics of the story, just to give you a more concise breakdown than what I just provided.
It was breaking news on 12 News this morning. A Scottish court has ruled that a man who goes by the name Arthur Knight is actually a Rhode Island man who faked his own death and is wanted on rape charges.
Kate, Nicholas Alaverdian, also known as Nicholas Rossi, claimed to have been the victim of mistaken identity and insisted his name was Arthur Knight. A court in Scotland ruled that evidence showed that was not the truth.
The person appearing before me is Nicholas Rossi, the person whose extradition is requested by the United States.
35-year-old Nicholas Alaverdian was arrested last year after checking himself into a Scotland hospital with COVID-19 symptoms.
So it's been this ongoing battle where he is claiming that it's a case of mistaken identity. He is not that guy wanted for rape charges. This is a huge misunderstanding. Everything's all cattywampus. You got it all wrong. That's an innocent man right there. Unironically pulling the old cartoon gag of wearing like glasses and a fake mustache and pretending that you're not the person of interest. Like the ultimate disguise.
In July, Knight was arrested again, and prosecutors matched his fingerprints to Alaverdian's. Friday, prosecutors of the Scottish court revealed they were able to tell he was Alaverdian after matching the tattoos on his arm.
I am ultimately satisfied on the balance of probabilities.
Alaverdian is accused of raping 2 women in Utah and sexually assaulting another in 2008.
I wanted to include that section from the broadcast because I didn't want to leave any wiggle room for some pseudo-intellectuals on Twitter to try and make some brain-dead argument about how the authorities got it wrong. They did do their due diligence in gathering evidence to try and confirm that these are the same person, that Arthur Knight is not real. That is not an innocent man. It is the same man who was wanted for those rape crimes. Like, it is not a case of, well, maybe they just didn't do enough. It's not like they just had one investigator, pounding cheeseburgers and wiping the grease on like some papers of Nicholas Alaverdian, and then he saw that after looking at a picture of Arthur Knight, and he's like, Eureka, it's the same person, they look similar. That wasn't the case. They have the fingerprint evidence, they also match tattoos, they do have a good bit on their side to lend validity to the claim that this is the same person. But if you're still not sold on that, maybe the interview will be enough to get you on the right side of history here, because they have an interview with Arthur Knight, and it is one of the wackiest clips I've ever seen in a criminal case in all my days. It is gold. It is absolutely fucking extravagant. This is like some thespian A-tier acting.
We were once a normal family, but thanks to the media, our lives have been interrupted. And we'd like privacy, and I would like to go back to being a normal husband. But I can't, because I can't breathe, I can't walk. People say that's an act. Let me try to stand up. Let me try to stand up. Exactly, exactly.
What do you say to someone who believes that you are Nicholas Alaverdian?
I am not, Andrea, I am not Nicholas Alaverdian. I do not know how to make this clear.
What do you say to people who say these are crocodile tears? He's putting on a show. This is all an act.
Oh, Andrea, no, that's a low blow. That's a right low blow.
If this man isn't up for an Oscar this year, then the entire industry is dead and corrupt. absolute unreal. That is a passionate performance. He is literally performing for his life right now. Like, this is high stakes. This clip is how I found the story, by the way. I thought what I was watching is James Corden's only entertaining piece of content ever. I thought it was James Corden playing a character. And I was like, wow, James Corden actually did a decent job. Like, this made me giggle a little bit. And I was like, holy shit, wait, this is real. Like, that whole segment where he's like, oh, you think it's fake that that I can't breathe and can't walk? Well, then what do you say to this? As he, like, miraculously rises. He's like, well, watch this. Whoa! This whole thing really feels like a sketch from Whitest Kids You Know. The whole interview is unintentional brilliance. Also, hats off to his supporting actress here. She also does an amazing job. So, like, when he's going to stand up, she's like, oh god, no, don't do it, you're gonna die! You're just gonna kill him! Like, he's about to explode from standing up. She's like, no! As he, like, slowly begins his ascent out of the chair to prove a point. Explain this then, science! Ah! It's so good.
What do you say to someone who believes that you are Nicholas Alaverdian?
I am not, Andrea. I am not Nicholas Alaverdian. I do not know how to make this clearer.
This segment is also fantastic, very reminiscent of SpongeBob Rockbottom. I can't understand your accent, except here it's gasps for air. Which, of course, is all part of the act, but I really appreciate that he's not afraid to draw clear inspiration from other art, such as SpongeBob. So I appreciate that. Also, the wambulance pulls up and he starts trying to get some tears out. He's not doing a good job of selling the crying. So if I was to critique his performance here, I would say he needs to work on getting tears out because his eyes are very dry. He doesn't actually get any moisture in there. He doesn't get any of his tear ducts firing, so that falls a little flat with the fake tears, but imagine if he was able to pull that off. This would have been a true combo of acting expertise, and it would have been one of the finest performances we've ever seen.
What do you say to people who say these are crocodile tears? He's putting on a show. This is all an act.
Oh, Andrea, no, that's a low blow. That's a right low blow.
What a dynamic duo here. A power couple. The chemistry between them, the synergy, is immaculate. So the interviewer asks, what do you say to people that are saying these are just crocodile tears and you're putting on a show? Without missing a beat, the woman there is like, oh, geez, come on. Have some class. Can't you see this is a broken man we're dealing with? Oh, jeepers. Zoinks, come on now. Where's the professionalism? Really? You're gonna hurt his feelings. And this is the cue to Nicholas to immediately, go fucking hog wild into the fake crying, which he's not great at, but it's complemented by the woman sitting opposite of him to kind of like egg him on and try and be there as like this shoulder to not cry on. So really just a fucking fantastic team they make. What a great pair. Now, unsurprisingly, the great acting here wasn't enough to get him an official pardon or anything, so it's still not looking great for Nicholas Alaverdian at the moment. And here's hoping he will finally face justice for his crimes that he is accused of. This is just an incredibly wacky fucking story, and one that's been, like, many years in the making. Like, I'm shocked I've never heard anything about it, because this really feels like a pretty high-profile case, but maybe I've just been oblivious to it, or it just never really got the mainstream attention, which is just surprising, because it is really weird. The whole thing is very weird. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit after finding the clip and kind of going down the rabbit hole. That's really about it. So yeah. Wow. Zoinks. Goodness gracious. Jinkies. We may be in the midst of one of the wackiest moments in internet content creation history. If these reports are accurate, and I can't speak to the authenticity myself, I haven't had my team of analysts really dive into the weeds of it and get down into the meat here, but there are reports that XQC just signed a 2-year, $100 million streaming deal with Kick, and it's not even exclusive to Kick. If that number is accurate, that would make it the 12th largest sports contract ever signed. Now, of course, you'd have to be huffing some very serious glue to try and conflate streaming with professional athletes, but it just goes to show you the value of the contract here and just how many doubloons we're talking. I came into this world as a little baby kicking, screaming, shitting my diapers, and now I'm kicking, screaming, shitting my diapers all over again because I can't believe what we're seeing here. I have been tapped into the mainframe of internet wackiness for over a decade now. I'm like Charles Xavier in this throne here, in Cerebro, just looking at all of the goofiness happening across the web. And I've been doing that for so long, and I could have never foreseen something like this happening. A 9-figure deal for a streamer to stream on a different platform. And not even exclusively, mind you. This is a non-exclusive contract for 2 years, meaning XQC gets to have his cake, eat it too, and fuck the baker. So he can stream on Kick and then still stream on Twitch all the same. He did make a Twitch stream earlier today, kind of to go over the announcement as well as the plan going forward. He's saying he's going to be streaming on Kick quite a bit, obviously, but he can still have the freedom to stream on Twitch when he wants to. I'm going to go ahead and rip the band-aid off and throw a little cold water in the face of all the juicers here that are under the impression he'll probably still be active on Twitch. I don't think he will. He legitimately has no incentive to stream on Twitch. Twitch is a platform that has banned XQC like 5 times. It is also a platform that has no real contracts for top streamers anymore, as well as the lowest sub-revenue split among any streaming platform available. Whereas Kick has the highest sub-revenue split, a 95.5. And I would swear on a stack of Bibles with a high level of confidence that XQC not only has that $100 million for 2 years, but also gets to keep 100% of the sub-revenue he earns, which is 95.5 split. So why the fuck would he stream on Twitch often at all? He'll probably use it as just a booster, a signal booster to get the juicers on Twitch over to Kick, letting them know like, hey, this was a fun stream on Twitch for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to finish the rest on Kick. I'll see you there. Just to, filter viewers over to Kick. That's my guess. But again, I'm just a dumb little fucking caveman here speculating from the armchair. Now, if you ask me, this is bad news for Twitch. This just drove a wooden stake right through the vampire's heart and then shoved garlic in its face. This is a big poach here. Now, I've mentioned this a few times in the past, but Twitch is a very top-heavy site where the top 1% of streamers on the platform account for a very large chunk of the overall watch time on the platform. So when you take the biggest streamer off of the site, you do make an impact on Twitch as a whole, really. And over the last year or so, Twitch has been continuously hurting itself in confusion. It has been making horrible decision after horrible decision over and over and over again, and it's been hemorrhaging users. A lot of streamers have been going elsewhere, whether it's YouTube or Kick or even Rumble some streamers have been going to. It is taking streamers from Twitch and going elsewhere. The 50-50 sub split on Twitch isn't enough to be competitive anymore. The over-reliance on intrusive ads isn't enough to keep small streamers on there because it's ruining the experience for their communities, which makes it hard for them to continue to thrive on the platform, so they go elsewhere like YouTube. Plus, the exclusivity on Twitch makes it hard for streamers to want to stay when they could stream on other platforms not exclusive. So they could do a stream on YouTube and then a stream on Kick or, this and that. Twitch has just been a platform that has been struggling to maintain its, dominance on the streaming space because it's been constantly losing its footing through bad decisions. Now, yesterday, Twitch did announce that it's taking the tiniest little baby step in the right direction. They announced that they're offering the Partner Plus program where if you reach a certain threshold, which is like 350 reoccurring subs, so not gift subs or anything, that's tier 1s, 2s, and 3s. If you reach that threshold, you unlock 70-30 sub split for a year. And that's like the tiniest little step in the right direction, them walking back their hardline stance on only 50-50 forever, no more 70-30. They must be starting to panic and realizing that streamers have other options. But this covers up to 100k, then goes back to 50-50, and it only lasts for a year if you don't maintain, I believe. So it's also very strict. 350 reoccurring paid subs, no gift subs or anything like that, is not an easy number to hit. That is a lot. That is a ton. So this isn't exactly super helpful for smaller streamers. And even a lot of medium streamers don't have that level of sub engagement. That's still a ton. So it really is, once again, just like the smallest boost for the bigger streamers on the platform, only up to a certain level. It's not amazing. Like, this is like the weakest possible implementation of a decent idea you could do. Like, it is, like I said, a very, very small baby step in the right direction of a good change. Twitch is a victim of its own hubris here. It got complacent at the top and it got greedy. So it is crumbling its own empire from its greed. That's why all of these other streaming platforms are growing so quickly and why so many people are abandoning the sinking ship of Twitch. That's just the reality of it. They are out of touch. They lost direction on what to do with the platform, so they just keep rolling out bad choices. And even when they do have a good idea, they're too afraid to actually just commit to a good idea. So yeah, it's very frustrating. Now I've seen the obvious comparison being drawn with Mixer because you might remember Mixer actually was able to steal away Ninja from Twitch back when Mixer still existed. And I'm sure all of you have forgotten that name. That's like an ancient relic on the internet, even though it hasn't been that long in the grand scheme of things. But it died so quickly and with such like a sad wet fart of a swan song that most people have forgotten it ever even existed. Mixer stole Ninja. They paid a ton of money. They shelled out many clams to get Ninja, as well as Shroud and King Ithalian, but Ninja was the #1 streamer on Twitch, and Mixer got him. And it didn't work for them. The site still inevitably crumbled, and it never got popular. It always remained kind of this pitiful little joke of a service. However, I don't really think Kick is following that same blueprint. I don't think its fate is set in stone the same way Mixer's was. I made a video about this on my second channel talking about the streaming wars. Kick is accomplishing something that Mixer never did. It's having people organically sign up and choose to stream there as a first option. I read a report the other day, take it with a grain of salt, I don't know how accurate these numbers are, but only a week ago, Kick had an influx of 1.2 million users sign up to the platform. Mixer probably never even saw 1.2 million people go to their site across the entire time it was alive. That was 1.2 million users signing up to the platform, according to the reports. So Kick is actually just getting users to go there, which is something Mixer never had happen. That was a pipe dream for that platform. Now, Kick blew up because it kind of got the reputation of like the detention class, right? Like all of the banned streamers went to Kick. Like Aiden Ross, which immediately blasted the platform off, and a lot of other like controversial streamers went to Kick after they were banned on Twitch and shit like that. And then a lot of controversial things happened, like the whole streaming of the Super Bowl and all that shit. So it really had a very bad reputation, and still does for many reasons. But it's started to shake that a little bit because a lot of streamers that aren't banned on Twitch have decided to move over to Kick even without a contract, just because the sub-split is so much better than the 50-50 you get on Twitch. You don't need as many viewers on Kick to make a living because you don't need as many subs to make a living. So a 95-5 split is very appealing to a lot of streamers. So there's recently been a lot of new creators there trying out the Kick space, which has led to a lot of new users on the site. So even when the big players on Kick aren't online, it's not a barren, empty wasteland. There's still quite a few users through quite a few different categories. So that, I do think, sets it apart from Mixer. I don't know if that necessarily means it's going to succeed or anything. I don't have a fucking crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But I will say that it does seem to be doing a lot better than Mixer did, even before the XQC signing. Now, I do want to... yucky. I do want to talk about something that a lot of people talk about, and I do think is a very important talking point. Kick is backed by Stake, which is a crypto gambling casino. It's why their pocketbook is so big. And obviously, a lot of people aren't too thrilled about gambling being so prominent on Kick. As of right now, so the slots and casinos category on Kick is their biggest, and it's really not even close. So that leaves a pretty bad taste in most people's mouths, mine included. I've been very outspoken about sponsored gambling not being great. You're just selling your audience on an addiction. You're trying to get them to sign up for crypto casinos and shit like that. And a lot of times they're not even using their own money, they're using house money. That is something I very much think is a load of dog shit. I think that is awful. Now, when it comes to Kick, I did extensive research on this out of curiosity because I kept hearing that Kick was mainly a front to get people addicted to Stake gambling because Stake owns it. Through everything I've read, and from every stream that I've watched on Kick, there hasn't been a single Stake advertisement or any gambling advertisement that I've seen, unless I've somehow missed them. And I haven't read reports from other users or any other publications that are reporting on gambling ads being run across any of the Kick categories outside of slots and casinos. The only place where gambling sponsors or stake itself appear is in the slots category for stake sponsors and shit like that. So I guess kind of like what Twitch used to be before the gambling ban last year, where all of the gambling ads and sponsors existed in that one category. That appears to be how it operates on Kick as of this moment. I haven't seen anything that pushes to stake or any gambling site outside of stake-sponsored streamers in the slots and casinos category. Now, again, maybe I've missed it, maybe there just hasn't been enough information about it in articles, but as of right now, that's the impression that I've been getting. And also from what I've been reading, it seems that stake wants to separate itself from Kick. It wants to be two very separate entities that don't really feed off of each other. They want it to be completely separate. And I guess that's what they're going for here. I don't know how successful it is as of right now. Again, no matter how you spin it, pumping gambling is just bad. Now, I do think it's always worth mentioning that Twitch isn't squeaky clean either. It's backed by Amazon. Amazon is no saint of a corporation either. Amazon isn't a company of angels and high morals. That is also a pretty evil corporation that backs Twitch. So, both of the big players in streaming, and YouTube as well, being backed by Google, Google's done so much shady shit as well. None of these corporations are exactly benevolent overlords worthy of celebration. They're all bad and evil in their own right. It's just a matter of which platform you as a user or you as a streamer feel most comfortable on, I think, at the end of the day. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly because that is something that is inevitably always going to be discussed when Kick is in the conversation. And of course, it's completely understandable why. So this whole thing has been really wild to watch unfold. I actually would have never envisioned a world where Twitch would be in the position it's in today. For the last year, the writing's been on the wall. If you go back 8 months, I made a video called Twitch is Dying, and that was kind of right on the money. Twitch has been continuously going downhill, and now all of the competitors are being elevated substantially because of it. And it's all Twitch's fault. It is entirely Twitch's fault. So it's wild to watch a business sink itself when it had a complete stranglehold on the market. Twitch was the streaming platform. Now it's becoming the joke. So, just wanted to talk about this because obviously this is the biggest content creator deal I've ever seen. I think it's probably the biggest content creator deal ever, hands down, like in general. So yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about that a little bit. That's it. So yeah. This is an extremely expensive adventure where you go to this company, they send you down in a submersible to explore and go through the Titanic. I think it's like $250,000 per person per seat or whatever. And they've lost contact with the submersible now. So it's been a scramble to try and like locate it, find them, and get them out. Now, one other thing that I think is important that we go into this with the knowledge of is this CEO sounds like a fucking maniac. Now, I do recognize that he is reportedly on this vessel as it's missing, so there is potential that he's dead. And it sounds like that's almost entirely his fault. I read this about him earlier. So there were already problems with this submarine, apparently. So in 2018, there was a lawsuit about it being a potential danger to passengers. So there were all kinds of red flags here. And the CEO at some point, I don't know if it's in this article, I haven't read this one. At some point, the CEO said that the safety requirements for the submarine were obscenely strict, complaining that the safety was overbearing. Like he was complaining that things were too safe. So it sounds like he was a corner cutter in order to save a little bottom dollar. Boss of missing Titanic submersible once called his industry obscenely safe. The daredevil inventor is understood to be on board the submersible that lost contact with the surface last week. That is the last person I would want manning my fucking Titanic deep sea adventure. The daredevil inventor. That's such a wild thing to complain about too. The industry being obscenely safe. I can't get over that. But it is a very dire and very serious situation. There is a good chance that they're either dead right now or will be shortly. They can't find them. Last I heard, there are only about 30 hours left on oxygen as of like a couple hours ago. Oh, here we go. Rush said that there have been no injuries in the field for decades, adding, it's obscenely safe because they all have these regulations, but it also hasn't innovated or grown because they all have these regulations. What the fuck do you mean? Before people complain about it being controlled by a Logitech controller, they almost definitely had backups, and controllers are used for a lot of scientific and military systems such as drones, submarine periscopes because of their ergonomic and intuitive design. The design sucked for many reasons, such as the under-engineered window and lack of escape hatch. That's another thing of prerequisite knowledge here. I saw this all over Twitter, so I had to look this up at least a little bit because so many people were arguing. It was controlled by I think it was a $20 Logitech gamepad, which is apparently industry norm in military equipment and other high-value vessels. That's not uncommon. So that's not a... It's a little goofy to read about, but it's apparently industry standard. Yep, this is from 2 months ago. The US military will fight the next big war with an Xbox-style video game controller, and it's just literally using Xbox controllers. They legitimately use these for very high-tech shit. Why not a PS4 controller? I don't know, brother. You're asking the wrong guy. I also wonder if third-party controllers can give you like a boost if you have like the extra little toggles on the back that used to be illegal in professional Call of Duty. Like little paddle shifters or something. The Xbox controllers have better aim assist. Yeah, I suppose so. While it is bigger than competitors, passengers are required to sit on the floor with limited room to move around. Yeah, that's the scariest part of submarines in general. I think there's almost nowhere more miserable to be in the entire universe than in a fucking submarine. You can't go anywhere. It's very cramped. Much of the interior, the company admits, consists of several pieces of off-the-shelf technology, which it says help to streamline the construction and makes it simple to operate and replace parts in the field. I don't know. To me, that doesn't sound like extremely nice. Like, that wouldn't build confidence for me. I'd like to hear that these parts came directly from, like, the finest forges in Mordor or something. Like, something really strong sounding as opposed to off the shelf. Mr. Rush, speaking to CBS News last year, said piloting the sub shouldn't take a lot of skill. Why? I feel like it absolutely should. There's people's lives at stake there. Like 10,000 leagues under the sea. You should have a very skilled pilot behind the controller of that puppy. Give me a goddamn esports pro or something. Don't just give me anybody. Oh man, God, this is fucking terrifying. OceanGate says it's an experimental vessel and told CBS Travel on board correspondent he had to sign a waiver to accept it has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. I understand waivers are pretty standard, but the regulatory body thing is actually surprising to me that anyone can build, well, any company rather, can build a sub and just take people under the sea without any level of, like, safety inspection. That's a little surprising. Oh, yikes. Okay. The company explained why the Titan had not been classed by an independent body. Bringing an outside entity up to speed on every innovation before it is put into real-world testing is an anathema to rapid innovation. This guy fucking hates inspectors and safety. Why? Oh my god. Yeah, we don't get it inspected or approved by any kind of, knowledgeable people. I said it's good enough, so that's probably enough. Crew searching for the Titan submersible heard banging sounds every 30 minutes, and for 4 hours later, after additional sonar devices were deployed, banging was still heard according to an internal U.S. government memo. It was unclear what the bang. I mean, it sounds like they're alive. Like, I don't think that banging is Davy Jones or anything. Like, I mean, it sounds like they're probably still alive. Yeah, but if they're freaking out, they're going to be using a lot more oxygen. These are, from what I understand, these are like just rich people, not fucking hardened super soldiers. Of course they're going to be freaking out in the face of death on a submarine at the bottom of the fucking ocean. So I think they're already working under the assumption that they're consuming more oxygen than normal. No, it's just too deep for that. Yeah, like I said, I'm not like a fucking nautical engineer, but I feel like, aren't most of these things like tethered to the ships? Like, I know when you do, what's that deep sea tour? Another rich people thing? I can't remember the name of it. But they have like a giant rope that tethers it to that ship. But I guess maybe it doesn't go as deep. It's just not possible at 13,000 feet. Okay, fair enough. How OceanGate built improvised submersible from camping kit and video game controller. Again, the video game controller is kind of industry standard, but what do they mean built from a camping kit?
The minivan. So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button, that's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
What the fuck? Those pictures don't do it justice. Oh my god, this looks miserable. Holy shit. And just a single button on board like an elevator. That does not inspire confidence. I want this shit to look like the Starship Enterprise, with 1,000 different ways of controlling it. $250,000 in your crisscross applesauce in like a car trunk. Yeah, there's like a small, like, bathroom area. I read it in the article. So there is like a small place to relieve yourself, but he recommends that you change your diet to reduce the chance of that, of you needing to use it. Look at that. What? What? How? I can't believe anyone would go on this. $250,000, I show up and I see this, I'm just leaving. And I'm asking for my money back ASAP. Holy shit. Actual, yeah, like actual just tape and Sharpie here.
These off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run
my
the
God.
whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
Oh, he's even got nipples on it. What does this even really help with? Why would you even bother putting the nipples on it?
As we'll show you a little later on Sunday morning.
Where things have to be.
I feel like that window at that depth is just an absolute recipe for disaster.
Archaeologist Rob Mather
Again, I'm not an expert. Let me see it here at the bottom.
Look at that, though, how it just kind of emerges out.
That thing is like fucking pathetic to look at. I'll just say it. Like, oh my god. Actually, tape and Sharpie, Camping World supplies. Oh my god. The porthole window is rated for 1,300 meters, and they dove to 4,000 meters. Well, you know. Simple miscalculation. Okay. Sunday night, it lost contact with the support ship. About an hour and 45 after submerging. Jesus, so like almost instantly. Because it's like an 8-hour journey. So that happening at an hour 45 is pretty much right off rip. It went tits up immediately. Jim Bellingham, a Johns Hopkins University expert on deep sea operations, told USA Today there's 3 possible locations for the submersible. One possibility is that it could be floating on the ocean's surface after an electrical failure or some other mishap. Another is that it's drifting in the water column anywhere between the surface and the bottom because it became buoyantly neutral. Or it could be on the sea floor, perhaps tangled with something that won't let it float to the top. The first one is by far the best position, Bellingham said, because even though it would be difficult to spot the 21-foot-long Titan amidst the waves, the Coast Guard is just awesome at this. They have amazing capability to see something pretty small in the ocean. Yeah, I think he's probably right on the money. The best case scenario is that they are floating somewhere out in the surface. Anything else is a little rough. God, that's so fucking terrifying, because if it is actually on the seabed, like, how are they supposed to save it? Like, how are you supposed to rescue them? Like, let's say, so the update from CNN 9 minutes ago was that they heard banging, which I think sounds like good news. It leads me to believe that they might still be alive. So they were hearing, like, banging on the equipment. How are you supposed to save them if they're on the seafloor? 13, like, are you supposed to send another Titan vessel down there? Like, you're gonna, like, put one together with more Camping World equipment? Like, how are you supposed to save them? So even if you do locate them, you can do nothing to really help. A magnet like Breaking Bad. Oh my god, sign this man up to NASA. What if you get a huge magnet and you just start putting it over the ocean and see if it starts bringing him to the top? This man's thinking with galaxy brain. Project Azorian was a U.S. Central Intelligence Agency project to recover a Soviet submarine, a K-129, from the Pacific Ocean floor using a purpose-built Hughes Glomar Explorer. This just sounds fucking awesome. What? The ship recovered a portion of the K-129, but a mechanical failure in the grapple caused 2/3 of the recovered section to break off during recovery. So it basically worked up until it didn't. Very interesting. So this was fundamentally like a giant crane that would be precisely lowered and lifting it up. So realistically, if we still had the Hughes Glomar Explorer here with this equipment, They could just call that bitch up right now and actually stand a chance if they could locate them. James Cameron about to come out of retirement to rescue him. I mean, legitimately, do they have that? James Cameron has what, the second deepest manned mission in the sea, I think? Yep. Pretty scary situation. Here's hoping they somehow get saved. That would be a fucking miracle. There's a mystery afoot, so grab the Scooby snacks and let's get to work. A pool at a Quality Inn has been mysteriously turning green 12 separate times. This isn't how God intended. This is not natural. They suspect this is intentional sabotage at this particular Quality Inn, but when authorities check the surveillance camera footage, they find no evidence of any culprits going to the scene of the crime or anything like that. How is that possible? Are they being attacked by an invisible man? Is this a situation out of The Happening where the plants are fighting back and they're responsible for the pool turning green 12 times? What's the motive? And most importantly, who really is behind it? It's very clear that there is a supervillain loose here, and only I'm qualified to crack this case and get to the bottom of it. When it comes to mysteries, I'm like L from Death Note. I figured out what happened to D.B. Cooper. I even solved the mystery of who shit in my pants when I went to Halloween Horror Nights in middle school. There's nothing I can't solve given enough time. But luckily in this case I didn't need to. In fact, the authorities pieced the puzzle together and it is so fucking wacky I can't wait to share it with you.
Cops pull up to a shocking sight. A pool where the water has turned neon green.
What in the world? What is that?
Sandra Woolston, the co-owner of this Quality Inn and Suites in New Jersey, was baffled when her motel pool mysteriously turned from clear water to this.
The voiceover for this one makes it sound like an old infomercial. Turn from clear water to this! Ew! But luckily with OxyClean, we got it right back to a clear blue. I don't know why he's, exaggerating all of the statements in this manner, with his intonation, but it's really enjoyable. It makes it, even more gripping, in my opinion. But anyway, that's the story in a nutshell. This Quality Inn, for some reason, keeps having their pool turn green. And the only way to fix that is for them to keep draining the pool, which is extremely expensive.
I watched it turn green in front of my eyes.
Somebody is sabotaging my pool. My pool is yellow as my guests can't go inside the pool.
I broke down. I didn't know what to do because with all these kids waiting to use the pool, but they couldn't go in.
The pool had to be drained and refilled with clean water. 2 days later,
the vandalist is back again. Our pool is green as a grass.
It happened a total of 12 times.
So either this place is cursed where they've built it on top of a Hulk burial ground and he's getting his revenge by turning the pool green with gamma radiation, or there really is a practical jokester that's really taken a liking to turning this pool green for some reason. That's all the information we have to work with so far. There are some more clues we'll get to in a moment, but let's start to piece together potential narratives together as a thought experiment. Perhaps whoever is responsible for sabotaging this is a previous guest at the Quality Inn who recently had a negative experience with that pool. Now, if I was on scene during this investigation with my monocle, magnifying glass, and pipe that I was smoking, the first thing I would ask would be if I could have access to the guest registry over the last couple of weeks, and if there'd been any reports of complaints from the guests about the pool. Assuming, of course, the Quality Inn keeps records on their complaints, it would give me a narrower list of suspects that I could focus on. I'd then set up an interview with each name on that list, and I'd do a little game of good cop, bad cop, where I'd be the bad cop and the good cop would come in with a soda from McDonald's. I'd invite them to drink the soda. When they take a sip, I would then inform them that what they just consumed was truth serum, which means they could no longer lie. Then I'd finally finish it off with the brain buster, the most important question, did you do it? And then I'd gauge their response from there.
This is every damn day, man! Look at the pool!
That's neon yellow color.
It was just, and the entire pool was engulfed.
What was turning the pool green? Here was the first clue. An object she found at the bottom of the pool.
I'll be honest, that object looks like some kind of extraterrestrial being. If you put a picture of that object on the r/alien subreddit, they would gobble that shit up as true evidence of an alien brainstem or something. That would give me no clues here. I'd start really thinking paranormal about this. Oh, maybe there's not a person behind this. Maybe it's a cryptid or something. I don't know what the fuck that is. That looks disgusting. Whatever that is. It must be whatever turns the pool green. Some kind of dissolvable mesh or some shit maybe that, distributes the green dye to the rest of the pool. But yeah, that shit is yucky.
But when police reviewed the motel surveillance video, they found nothing suspicious. Here's Stephen Fabian.
So how did the pool turn green? Well, cops say the culprit used a drone like this to hover over his target before releasing a concentrated packet of dye.
The dye is actually a life-saving device used for ocean rescues.
When they broke the magician's code and revealed how this was most likely done, it blew my tiny little brain. I realized at that moment I would never cut it as a detective trying to piece together a complicated case. That whole idea never even crossed my noodle as a possibility. That the reason someone didn't show up on surveillance camera yet the pool still turned green was because it was transported via drone outside of the security camera's, field of view. That would have never been something I thought of. That is actually so devious. It's admittedly a pretty clever plan here, because then the actual person responsible for it is a long distance away from the scene of the crime, so there's not a ton of breadcrumbs to follow. This is one of those galaxy brain maneuvers that you see fictional villains do in media. But somehow, the cops did catch him. So I'm not only impressed by the method they used here in order to distribute the green dye to the pool, but also the fact that they got caught.
So, who do police say was behind the attacks? They arrested 45-year-old Patrick Spina, who owns a heating and air conditioning business close to the motel. The motive? Cops say he's a prankster. He didn't have much to say when we caught up with him.
There he is, that scoundrel. So, they've got him. Apparently, I will say that they didn't do a great job of explaining how they really connected him to this. So apparently he owns a business nearby, but when I first heard that, I thought it'd be like, oh, it must be a competing business and this is his way of sabotaging a competitor, trying to take them out of business or financially harm them. But apparently they believe the motive is genuinely him just being a quirky little jokester. I also needed to dig a bit deeper in here to figure out how exactly they connected this drone to this individual. So apparently they had spotted it over the Quality Inn on September 1st and then just followed it back to where he was and then arrested him. So they did catch him red-handed with his hand in the cookie jar here, but the motive of just being a prankster is incomprehensible to me because this is not a prank. This is a dozen times. This is just genuine vandalism and trying to ruin that business. Because it's super expensive to keep fixing that. Not only did they have to keep draining the pool and refilling it, but now they're going to have to refinish it too, since the green dye is harmful to the pool as well. So the frequency and all of that makes it seem like it's not really a joke, because what's the haha moment? It's just this fucking goofball. There's no way he's treating this like a joke. There had to be a deeper motive to it that I don't think is pranks. Though I guess I could be totally wrong here, since pranks in the modern age are just legitimate degeneracy and actual just harming people half the time. So maybe it is possible that this is just his idea of what a prank is, but it really took a big toll on the motel's owner because it is super expensive.
I just hope that this bonehead paid for what he did and he never ever do anything this dumb and so stupid to impact other people's livelihood.
The suspect is charged with criminal mischief and faces fines as much as $30,000. The hotel owner says that prank cost her at least $20,000.
Yeah, so the mystery has been solved. He is facing a charge for this and hopefully will be responsible for paying for all the damages caused to the motel. A happy ending here, but what a wild little adventure to go on because, again, I don't know how you'd ever really piece this one together if you never saw the drone in the surveillance camera or anything. They must have just got lucky that they saw the drone over the Quality Inn at one point and then just followed it back to home base. Yeah, so now we can comfortably close the books on the mysterious case of the pool turning green. Just wanted to share that with all of you. That's about it. See ya. I just watched a crazy video from Code Blue Cam about a drunk driver, and really, drunk is not the proper nomenclature. That doesn't really tell the whole story. He is cartoonishly inebriated, to the point where I was half expecting him to start burping up bubbles like a character out of Tom and Jerry when they drink a root beer. So this goober was driving the wrong way and actually almost hit Kamala Harris head on. So he starts getting interviewed by the Secret Service at the scene as well.
But as her motorcade made its way to the airport along I-94, a vehicle driving in the wrong direction approached, narrowly missing the convoy by just feet. After passing 29 vehicles involved in the escort, a Milwaukee County Sheriff's deputy at the rear of the motorcade quickly stopped the vehicle, identifying the driver as 55-year-old Wayne Wacker.
Could there be a better name? Wayne Wacker sounds like a superhero who jerks off villains at dangerously high velocities till they give up. Wayne Wacker. It's like a name I would make up for a Dark Souls character.
An open Miller Lite beer can was clearly visible in the center console.
They should have slapped an additional charge on this DUI for his beer of choice being a Miller Lite. I've been saying it for like 8 years now. Miller Lite is the actual worst piss water ever made. Full stop. I can't stand that. If you serve me Miller Lite, I'm leaving. Like, that's a sure, like, you would get me out of an establishment faster by handing me a Miller Lite than you would by telling me it was on fire.
You guys ID and everything?
I didn't get anything yet.
You got your ID on you, sir?
What?
You got your ID on you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna need that. Is it in here? Your ID's in here? I don't think so. Where are you coming from tonight, my boss? You don't know? Clearly too little too much to drink, even with your Miller Lite here, huh?
Doesn't matter.
It sure does.
This man is so lost, truly discombobulated, acting like Robin Williams when he popped out of Jumanji for the first time, wondering what year it is. He is in a trance. He is so drunk he doesn't know what's happening. When the officer picked up the Miller Lite and took it away from Wayne Wacker, I thought he was gonna jump at him like a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare to get it back. Like, he looked upset that the Miller Lite was moving out of arm's reach.
Why do you keep pointing at that? I didn't need your ID. I don't care what's in there. Oh, no, still not it.
They get caught in this cutscene here with Wayne having a whack attack. Like, he doesn't know where the ID is, so instead he just, like, slowly moves around like one of the tree ints in Lord of the Rings and, like, just cannot, like, grasp what's going on. He's in a totally different dimension.
Hop on out now. Hop on out of the car. Hop out of the car. We're talking to my partner.
No, let's get him out first. Let's get him out. That's fine. So unbuckle your seatbelt, sir.
They eventually just decided to skip this cutscene because Wayne was making no progress locating that ID. We'd probably find Atlantis before Mr. Wacker would stumble across his ID.
Down south. Down south? You know you could have killed somebody, right? Going the wrong way in traffic, man. A very busy highway here. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you had to drink today?
Couple beers.
Couple beers? How long ago?
For this wrong way, I had to start a new car over there.
Tonight? Okay. What's your name, man?
Wayne.
Wayne? Wayne what?
Whacker.
Whacker.
It's a very serious situation. I've made this clear many times over the years. I have literally zero respect for drunk drivers. But even in a situation like this, hearing someone say that their name is Wayne Wacker, I don't know if I'd be able to stop myself from laughing. Like, I don't know how I wouldn't giggle at that name.
U.S. Secret Service agents responded to the traffic stop to speak with Wayne.
Where were you? Like, where were you headed from? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where were you coming from?
Down a gay bar down in...
A gay bar downtown, or like where?
Yeah.
Now we're getting a little exposition here and some background on the character. They're starting to flesh out the lore of Wayne Wacker. So they lean him against that median because couldn't really stand super well, so they have him leaning there and he just starts like posting up, fucking taking a chill pill, like he's about to overdose on chill pills while he's intoxicated. So he's just leaning against there and they're just asking him some like basic questions like, do you remember where you're coming from? And he said that he's coming from a gay bar downtown.
Was it in the center council or where was it at?
It's there.
It's there? Okay.
Out of traffic in the border with the state patrol.
Sir, Secret Service.
Got me.
See a motorcade go by?
What?
See a bunch of cars go by when you're going the wrong way?
Yeah.
You didn't see that?
I am close by. Take that.
Wayne is gripping that like it's a roller coaster ride. He is holding on for dear life there. So the Secret Service comes over to get some answers to some questions to see if this guy was like trying to perform an assassination attempt here. And Wayne, he doesn't even know what's going on. Going the wrong way, doesn't see any of the 29 cars that passed him. He doesn't know what is happening. He is so fucking drunk. In the way that he speaks, it sounds like he's got like peanut butter in his mouth. Like it sounds like he is actually talking in a dream. Like, you know, like when you're in a dream and everything feels like really slow and like odd, like especially throwing a punch. Like that is how he is talking.
Where are you coming from? Car? You had any idea that Kamala Harris was in town?
Well, I guess I did.
Is that the reason you're going the wrong way on the highway?
No.
Why are we going the wrong way on the highway? Because you're drunk? What?
Drunk.
He admits to being drunk, yet he still says he only drank 2 beers. Usually that whole "I've only had 2 drinks" line from drunk drivers is a tactic employed by those that are trying to convince the others that they're not drunk. Wayne is just like, "I'm drunk. Drunk." Speaking like a caveman with like one word. Drunk. I don't even really see the point of why he's lying about how much alcohol he's consumed. Or maybe he's just a super lightweight somehow and he really did only have 2 beers and he ended up that fucking hammered. Though I find that pretty unlikely.
Do you remember what entrance you came up on?
What?
Do you know what entrance ramp you came up on? No. You don't remember any of that?
There's no idea other than his yes employee.
What?
Passport?
I didn't. No.
Do you have a passport? No?
No?
Okay.
What's your height and weight?
I'm fat.
Now the officers can't contain their laughter anymore. He is so fucking inebriated that when asked questions like what's your height and weight, all he can say is fat. And they found his public school ID. Turns out Wayne Wacker is a teacher. And you can clearly see Professor Wacker isn't taking this super seriously. He doesn't understand just how dangerous this was.
Are you motivated by any kind of extremism group? Are you involved or associated with any kind of groups?
No.
Like a military group or like anything like that? Are you a gun holder?
A what?
A gun holder. Like, do you have a concealed carry? Do you own weapons at home?
No.
Anything like that? You don't have any guns at home?
Yeah, I do.
What do you got?
Pretty much the entire time Wayne is smiling, like he has like a perpetual smile as his eyes are almost fully closed. So he almost seems flattered with how many officers and Secret Service agents showed up. He even asked if all of them were there for him, and they said, "Yeah, you're driving the wrong way down a very busy road." And he goes, "Really?" Like it looked like it was the happiest fucking moment of his life. Like he just went downstairs on Christmas morning and saw the bicycle he's always wanted under the tree from Santa.
Yeah, what school? What the hell is it called? No, I'm asking. It's called,
Where's it located, Wayne?
No, it's called, Alright. No, wait. What art means you teach, or what do you do? Yeah,
I'm 100% sure that Wayne was going to try and make up a school name so that way he didn't risk his job with all of this, because I think he was able to process that, oh, cops, drunk, this might not be a good look for the school, and now they know I'm a teacher, I'll try and throw him off the trail with a made-up name. But he was too fucked up, he couldn't think of any other name. But I really thought, like, when they asked him, where is it? I thought he was going to reach into his pocket and give him one of these or something. Or hit him with, like, a really stupid name for a school. Like Education Academy or something. But he just wasn't able to put it all together, so instead he just keeps, like, stalling. Like, he just keeps throwing in, like, filler words. Or maybe he truly is so drunk he just can't even remember where he teaches every day. Also possible, I suppose.
What's the deal?
All right, remember what I told you, Wayne? We're going to do some field sobriety tests to make sure that you're okay to drive, okay? So my
I'm not driving.
Well, you were.
I want you to keep your head straight, but I want you to follow it with just your eyes, okay? Remember what I was saying, Wayne?
Am I doing it right?
Nope. So remember what I was saying? Just keep your head straight, okay? And just follow it with just your eyes.
Oh, just my eyes.
Just your eyes, okay? So you're still keeping your head. All right, you're good.
For so many decades, people have criticized Superman Clark Kent, the disguise being really lackluster because Clark Kent is just Superman with a pair of glasses on and nothing else. How would people not connect the dots that Clark Kent is Superman? Like, the glasses wouldn't be enough for the disguise. But I totally get it now. When Wayne Wacker took off his glasses, he immediately polymorphed into Alex Jones. Like, he instantly just shape-shifted into Alex Jones. It was like a totally different looking guy. Fucking facial expressions remind me of Super Mario 64 when you start up the game and you can take the little hand and move his nose around and move his mouth around and everything and shake his head around. That is what Wayne Wacker is doing here for the Follow the Light field sobriety test.
2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, you all done, Wayne?
Yeah.
All right, one more test for you. Okay.
As graceful as a ballerina and as elegant as a butterfly. Wayne, you've outdone yourself with that one. I half expected him to go up on his tippy toes and then hit us with a curtsy at the very end of that.
1, 2. 1. Hold on. I'm joking.
That's all right. Just do the best you can.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, we'll move on, Wayne, to the... Yeah, one more test, okay?
He agreed to the PBT, which resulted in 0.252.
And blow. Keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing, keep blowing.
I did good.
All right, you know what the legal limit to drive in the state of Wisconsin is, Wayne?
No.
Okay, so it's 0.08, okay?
I passed.
All right, so you're at a 0.252, okay? So that's more than 3 times the legal limit. Wayne, you're going to be placed on arrest for OWI tonight, okay?
I can't believe it turned out he was actually drunk. I thought with how well he was doing in those field sobriety tests, it may have been a misunderstanding. Maybe he just got confused with the, where he was going on the road, the ramp threw him for a loop-de-loop and pull type maneuver. But I guess he was actually intoxicated. I'm as stunned as you are.
In the end, Wayne was only charged with felony second-degree recklessly endangering safety and received over $2,700 in traffic citations, including one for operating while intoxicated. Since his last OWI conviction occurred more than 10 years ago, it is being treated as a first offense.
Yeah, so that's how the story of Wayne Wacker and the Miller Lite wraps itself up there. I just had to talk about this a little bit. It was one of the weirder drunk driving body cam videos I've seen from Code Blue Cam or any of the other body cam channels. It was quite a ride. That's really about it. So yeah.